Running from place to place, place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, and welcome to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. It is February. Yes, we made it into February. It's the 3rd of February, 2025, and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago. I am Ayana Webster-Roy. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Welcome one and all to February 2025. We must give God thanks and praise for His goodness, His mercies, and His grace upon our lives that made it possible for us to be here in February 2025. Good things are ahead. We have overcome a lot of challenges, and I'm sure there are quite a few more to come, but by the grace of God, we will be able to, overcome them all. We have a lovely show lined up for you this morning, and we're so happy that you have chosen us this morning to view with us, whether you are in your kitchen this morning, making your cup of coffee, in your garden, or getting yourself ready for work this morning. So we do hope that you could stay with us throughout the entire programming. But before we get into all of those conversations, we head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Monday, February 3rd, 2025. A total of 3.5 months remaining on her contract, Police Service Commission fired Commissioner Police Ayana Webster-Roy. Her termination took effect on January 31st, 2025, while she was in police custody. After 2 days of detention and questioning, with no charges filed pending further inquiries, Ayana Webster-Roy, along with former Major and SSA Director Roger Best, was placed under investigations for the procurement of sniper rifles and accessories for the Strategic Service Agency. Meanwhile, DCP Junior Benjamin was nominated to act as Commissioner of Police pending parliamentary debate on February 5, 2025, while ACP Kurt Simon was nominated as Deputy Commissioner. Up next, over the next 2 days, Tobago People's Party will screen nominees for Tobago East and West as they prepare for the 2025 general election. The one-year-old party has received 8 nominations, 6 for Tobago East and 2 for Tobago West, including former official THA members and party leaders. Deputy Chief Secretary Faith Brebner highlighted that district councils and action groups are selecting their preferred candidates, marking TTP's first election screening. Meanwhile, TTP leader Farley Augustine reaffirmed the party's commitment to enhancing Tobago's parliamentary representation. And finally, President Donald Trump defended new tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China, acknowledging potential economic pain but insisting they are necessary to make America great again. The tariff, including a 25% tax on Canadian goods, have sparked backlash, with Canada and Mexico imposing retaliatory measures. Critics warn the move could worsen inflation, contradicting Trump's past promises. Analysts estimate U.S. households could lose $1,245 annually if tariffs persists. While Trump remained firm, uncertainty looms over their long-term impact, with experts suggesting they may ultimately be temporarily due to economic pressure. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Biana, for our news there in 90 seconds. And of course, we're going to head straight on over to your top story this morning. It is the talk around the tongue.
Yes,
I mean, unless you're living under a rock, you would be aware of what transpired in Trinidad and Tobago over the past couple of days, where we saw the detention and arrest of the top cop, yes, Earl Christopher Yearwood. And of course, seeing the release over the weekend. Now, the discussion is in the atmosphere. Everybody's talking. Of course, everybody has their own opinions, but the important thing is to do the research to get the information so that you can speak from a place of being informed.
Yes.
And so we know that the weapons were procured and then, ascribed to the SSA.
Yes.
After
procurement.
I don't know what the entire, what entails entirely, right? But we got to a place where it was not supposed to have been. And so the arrest, detention, and the questioning coming out on the weekend now, we're seeing that the top cop was released because there were no charges laid. And we are being told that there isn't a complainant, right, to sign off on the document. And so she has been released without being charged. We also saw over the weekend, Biana, I think early this morning or yesterday evening, where we saw that the acting in the place of the fact now that we have the top cop now being removed from her position, having 3.5 more months in the position as the on her contract, now being instructed to be removed, and in her place we see DCP Junior Benjamin being nominated by the PSC, as the Police Service Commission, to act in the interim. So that's where we are. So Biana, tell me.
For me, there are a lot of unanswered questions, but I wouldn't give my opinion, but I'll wait to see what the end result will be.
And that is just the thing, for me, it is getting the information, doing the research, finding out exactly what happened, what is the position now. And I know that this nomination is to be presented to the Parliament on Wednesday. Right? So we'll see how we move forward where that is concerned. And we're seeing, of course, the lawyer of
Miss
Christopher is now saying, she wants to speak, but on the advisement of her solicitor, of course, she has to remain silent on the matter until it is finalized. And so that is where we are, Trinidad and Tobago, of course, in a place of what do we do next? Where do we go? Who do we trust? Is the public trust? How can you restore public trust after this situation? Whether or not Miss Yearwood is found guilty or not, even if it comes out that she's innocent of any crime being committed, how do you restore public trust after a demonstration of this nature? We're talking about the person holding the highest office of security in Trinidad and Tobago being arrested by her officers, right? Whether it is legitimate or not, public trust is a serious situation, because now you're wondering, is it that there is division now? There's a question, is there division now among the TTPS?
And the normal citizens, as the police would always say, if you see something, say something. Is it a matter now that citizens will have a trust to say something?
Yeah, but what can we say? What can we say? The most we can do is really understand what the law says in relation to this whole matter, to of course get the data in terms of how things happened, the timeline in which things happened, and just to kind of balance it out to see, is it lawful, was it legal, who did what, who signed off on what, where the approvals came from, did these persons have the authority to do those things? Those are the questions that we have to answer, that we have to get answers to. And for me, more importantly, of course, they see that public trust, that is very, very important. Because if you are holding that office, whoever it is holding the office that is responsible for reducing crime, and we can't have any trust in you, then I feel as if the system has to be revisited.
Or it's failing the citizens.
That's right. So we have to really continue probing where that is concerned. But I want to switch gears a little bit this morning. There's some congratulations we have to extend, Biana. So I know you were all in it, so tell me, let our viewers know what we're saying congratulations for this morning.
Right, so this morning, I know they're listening, though they're still in Trinidad. I would like to say congratulations to the RBC Redemption Songsetters Youth Academy. Though they were not placed in the first top 3, they played excellent. They placed 8 along with 2 other bands from Trinidad. And, congratulations is going out to Mr. Shaquille Brooms, that's the arranger, and the captain of the band, Miss Chriselle Bowen. Hope that I got the pronunciation properly. And Miss Kersha Melville, she's the vice captain, and also the support of the parents and well-wishers. Congratulations to the band. Of course, I join with you in extending congratulations. Tobago is proud. And the performance was awesome, really, really awesome, and they were joined by soca artist Lyrical. So, they had a bumper time. That's right, right. Many, many congratulations, and of course, Tobago is proud, and we take every opportunity to celebrate a win. Even though we didn't come in the top 3, we still
still count it a win.
Yes.
So we join with you and we say congratulations and we celebrate with you as well. Thank you, Bianna, so much for being on set with us this morning and bringing the news in 90 seconds. And I do hope you have a wonderful day today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the morning where we celebrate with those who are celebrating. It's time for our birthday shout outs. So this morning we're saying happy birthday to quite a few persons this morning. Happy birthday, of course, goes out to Mr. Lyndon Wilson. Lyndon Wilson, belated birthday greetings. In fact, he celebrated a birthday yesterday, and so we want to say happy birthday to you, Lyndon. We do pray God's blessings upon your life, and we do hope that you have a wonderful birthday season. Continue doing the good work that you're doing there with youths and all that you are involved in, and we do hope that you are able to yield much benefits from all that you do this year. Akel Franklin also celebrated a birthday. This is also a belated birthday as well, and we do say happy belated birthday to you. We do hope that as you enter this new season, that of course you get new blessings, you experience love, joy, peace, and everything that comes with celebrating a birthday. We wish all of that for you as well. So happy belated birthday to you. And of course, if you are celebrating a birthday, you're celebrating an anniversary, a promotion, a baby dedication, retirement, whatever you are celebrating, you purchase a new home, a new car, whatever it is, we join in the celebration with you this morning, and we remind you to put God first and to make him a part of your celebration, because he is the sole reason why there's even anything for you to celebrate this morning. So remember to give God thanks for life. What's in my cup, you might be wondering. What's in my cup is sponsored this morning by LCJ Delights, and this morning I'm drinking ginger turmeric tea. Thank you so much, LCJ Delights, for my tea this morning. You can find them at the Signal Hill Micro Enterprise unit there. They provide teas and they provide porridges and flour to make your waffles and pancakes and all your breakfast mixes as well. They also procure premium blend of mixed nuts, so you can check them out there to get your specialty this morning. So, a lot has been happening in the atmosphere, but who are we speaking with this morning and what are we talking about? This morning we bring to you the Honorable Ayana Webster-Roy. She's coming up next, and we're speaking about she is the minister in the office of the Prime Minister holding the responsibility for gender and child affairs, and she's also the MP for Tobago East. Yes, and we are launching a new series called Beyond the Headlines. Beyond the Headlines, what is that about? Well, we're going to have that conversation this morning. All the things you want to know about the things you should know, we're going to be having those conversations this morning with Minister Ayana Webster-Roy on set this morning. We're going to go through the paces and we're going to find out all the things that entails in terms of being a government minister, holding that responsibility, what the responsibilities are, and all the benefits that are yielded from being a part of that ministry. So you want to be a part of that conversation. So whether you're viewing us right here in Tobago, if you are in Trinidad, the Caribbean region, the United States of America, the United Kingdom, all of Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, wherever you're viewing us from this morning, this is your opportunity to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with AMPLIA's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. We're going to head straight on into the conversation this morning. Beyond the headlines, I wonder what does that mean? Of course, we're going to be having conversation this morning with the Honorable Minister Ayana Webster-Roy as we talk about her role as a government minister, as an MP, and of course holding responsibility for one of the most important, I would think, ministries in Trinidad and Tobago. We're talking about gender and child affairs. Isn't that a very important ministry? Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Adana, and thanks for having me. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. It's a pleasure to be here.
Of course, and a pleasure to have you in studio with us this morning. And you know, when you hear the term beyond the headlines, usually you just hear like the surface information. You just know that this person is an MP, this person is a minister, and they hold this responsibility. Sometimes you might hear about some of the initiatives, you might hear of, a certain amount of things. But beyond the headlines, we really want to get into who you are as a person, your role as an MP, your role as a minister, a government minister, and the responsibility given to you as the Minister of Gender and Child Affairs. So we're going to get straight into I know it's a lot. I know you took a deep breath there. I know it's a lot, but we want to get into the conversation primarily because we want to ensure viewers understand that in as much as the title might be a big one, it's still a human being. It's a person who is carrying this responsibility. And then there are so many things that are expected. Also measuring your successes and all of these things we're going to be discussing this morning on this program. So tell us about you being a member of Parliament, right? And also tie that into being the MP for Tobago East and how those two benefit the people of Tobago in your capacity.
So I took a deep breath when you were calling out the portfolio because you said a deeper look into who is Ayana Webster-Roy, and I was waiting for you to say the mommy, the wife, the daughter, the sister.
That coming out.
All of that. But it is an awesome responsibility to hold the position of Member of Parliament for Tobago East. Being that I'm a resident of Tobago East, born and bred Tobago East young woman, if I could call myself a young woman still. And I think one of the best things about being an elected representative is seeing your advocacy bear fruit. When people reach out to you for various matters, and to see you send your letters or you make your phone calls, and at the end of the day you get a phone call back saying thank you. Your letter would have helped, or thank you, that phone call you made would have opened up a door of opportunity for me. So being a Member of Parliament is not just about going down to Trinidad and sitting in Parliament, contributing to debates, or even sitting on GSCs and helping to interrogate your own government and the work that we do. It's about really meeting people where they are, trying to connect them with the right resources to help them to become more empowered, but also trying to create a better constituency. And for me, the fact that I grew up in Roxborough, I still live in my constituency, I still live in Tobago East, to see the development, the transformation over the years, not only in terms of physical infrastructure, but to see the development in terms of people development, to see how the constituency would have advanced, to see how children within the constituency are being able to enjoy their childhood while being able to access the right type of education, the right type of services that they require to become the best versions of themselves.
And you know, being a personable person is very important, especially when you live in smaller communities, you know. And you know, especially in the east side, people are very family oriented. They're I've noticed from my own observation that people in the east, you can't get in between those people. They're always band together no matter what. You know, so how have you been able to use that to reach the people within the community to ensure all the things you spoke about in terms of accessing good education and developing infrastructure? How have you been able to use your personality to ensure that they are able to access all the things that are available through, whether it is the ministry you're under or just in your constituency? How have you been able to do that?
I think one of the key things is to remain close to people and remain on the ground. So one of the things I've endeavored to do from day one is to continue walking the constituency and engaging people, talking to them and bringing the office to the people. But most importantly, being able to be approached and to be accessible. So for example, most people look at me and they say I have a serious face. So at the first glance, they are a bit intimidated. I remember a young guy came into my office and he said, you know, it's a bit scary because you have a mislook. But when we were talking, I mislook, that's what he said. But when we were talking in the office, he said, I could be real with you. He said, no, you're real cool, because just being able to break it down and to treat people the way they want to be treated and to adapt to suit. So if you're speaking to somebody who is high society, then you adapt to your language the way you may bring across yourself to suit that person. But if you're just dealing with somebody on the block, a block boy, you come down to their level and you just be real with them. And that's what you try to do, make people feel comfortable to approach you within your space so that you could be of service to them. And that's the key thing. Being humble enough to open up yourself to be of service to people. And I want to just stress on something. Service is different from servitude. There's no shame in offering yourself to serve people and doing it to the best of your ability. It's not servitude, it's just open up yourself, being able to listen, being able to take critique when it's necessary, but using the information to always grow and develop. So when I go about and walk about and I call out people, I usually go to a field officer and I ask them, I said, is there anything I may be able to help you with? And my second thing is, or do you want to make recommendations how I could better serve you, or how my office could better serve you and the area that we're walking today? That's how I usually approach it.
And you see, I like how you broke it down there and you made a difference between service and servitude. And before I get into my line of questioning, in terms of service, what are some of the benefits you have derived personally from being in service to the people?
Personal benefits, I think learning to understand Ayana and what matters most. Having to serve people and looking at the various needs, I've been able to identify what I'm most passionate about. So for me, in the constituency, people might tend to say, well, you do a lot of things for children. Because I realize that for me, it's building a stronger generation, the next generation, building and making sure that they are stronger so that they could take the foundation that we have laid for them and to go on to do even better and greater things. So investing in children and young people and helping them to I like to use the word often, become the best version of themselves, because I know at the end of the day, all of Tobago and by extension Trinidad and Tobago would benefit. So for me, being of service to people has helped me to understand me better, understand what makes me tick, gives me the motivation to get up and fight another day. Another direct benefit is getting to meet beautiful people every minute. You might go into a community and you might encounter somebody and you might think, that person looking a bit shady, but when you talk to them, you realize it's just a real person like you, with challenges, with needs, with aspirations, and just helping that person to connect with the right people, helping that person to understand something that they might have been lacking, and help them to get to that place where they say, I think I could overcome that, I think meeting people and getting to interact with so many different communities and people within communities has been a magnificent benefit of this job.
And I could feel your passion while you're talking. You could actually feel it here in studio. I want to talk about your role as a minister with the responsibility for gender affairs and child affairs.
And past and NAC.
Okay, roll it out. Tell us a little bit about your role, because we hear the term and we might be limited in what we think it is and the responsibilities that you hold. So just give us an overview as to what exactly your role entails and what you are responsible for.
Okay, so my portfolio is actually Central Administrative Services Tobago. So that was the first portfolio I was assigned when first elected in 2015, and then it grew beyond that. So Central Administrative Services Tobago, Gender and Child Affairs, and the National AIDS Coordinating Committee. Now, Central Administrative Services is with that sort of conduit between central government and the Tobago House of Assembly. And one of the key things that I've been proud of as member responsible for Central Administrative Services Tobago that we have been able to do year on year for young people in Tobago, that would be our summer internship program, where I shouldn't say summer, or July-August internship program. We don't have summer in Trinidad and Tobago, where we provide an opportunity for young people to get on the job training. And it's not just about the training, it's giving them the opportunity to put some money in their pocket when they're ready to go back out to school. So we usually cater for children who are in lower six going to upper six, or students who are in university, the first year going to the second year, the second year going to the third year, giving them the opportunity during the holidays to earn an income while preparing them for the world of work. And another passion of mine that we would have been able to bring back to life through CAST is the Republic Day celebrations in Roxborough. I mean, as a little girl growing up in Roxborough, I used to look forward to that, and then for some years it stopped, and when we were able to bring it back through CAST, the joy we brought to children in Tobago East, the fact that you could see your friends parading through the streets of Roxborough, your relatives, it brought a sense of pride back to the constituency and to the people. So those are two of the key things that I'm really proud of at CAST. At Gender and Child Affairs, we are responsible for the coordination of the national response to children in Trinidad and Tobago, as well as we are the focal point in terms of mainstreaming gender in Trinidad and Tobago. So I'll separate child and I'll separate gender. At Child Affairs, we would have been able to roll out a national policy for children. And when we did that, we were amongst the first in the Caribbean to have a national child policy. Coming out of our national child policy, which is being implemented, we have done a number of initiatives. So you've seen us rolling out a Child Rights Ambassadors program, or You Report initiative, getting young people to help to inform policy by sharing their voice, their opinions, different activities in schools and in communities. This year in particular, this fiscal year, we placed a lot of emphasis on mental health and ensuring that our children are in the right mental space, because we recognize that in Trinidad and Tobago, even though we have readily accessible services, in most instances, we saw where our children were struggling, especially coming out of COVID. So we placed a lot of emphasis on their mental health and well-being. We also, under the Child Affairs portfolio, would manage the children's home in Trinidad and Tobago, as well as we have the responsibility for the Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago. What we have now as a coordinating mechanism under the Child Affairs Division is the National Standing Committee on Child Protection that brings together various ministries and agencies as we work towards strengthening and coordinating issues around child abuse prevention, ensuring that we have the right framework in place to safeguard and protect our nation's children. And I want to reassure Tobago in particular that within that Standing Committee on Child Protection, we have the Tobago House of Assembly represented through at least 2 key divisions, the Division of Education, Research and Technology, as well as the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection. And the Chief Administrator is also there, as well as the administrators. And I want to thank the Tobago House of Assembly for the excellent collaboration that we have been having across the 2 islands in terms of strengthening the childcare and protection system. In terms of the gender portfolio now, when we talk about gender, people always think it's a woman's issue, but it's not. When we speak about gender, we talk about ensuring there's equity and equality and that the lives of men, women, boys and girls are impacted positively. So we look at the various policies and initiatives coming out of government to make sure that they are streamlined in such a way that our men, women, boys and girls benefit. And in most instances, when we discuss issues around gender, and because if you look at gender-based violence, for an example, women are usually the primary victims. We have the higher reports of incidents of gender-based violence. You will see a lot of work and effort going into putting mechanisms in place to provide shelter services to women and training and so forth. But I want to again remind the public it's more than that. It's ensuring there's equality and equity and that we create a gender-just society. Just recently, we would have launched the Umbono system. That is our registry system for instances of gender-based violence in Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm extremely proud that we were able to do that in-house at the Gender and Child Affairs Division. So kudos to our IT people, and what that does now, it gives me as well as those persons who need to get the information a real-life picture of what's happening on a day-to-day basis in terms of the reports coming in. So, for example, in the month of January, when my PS was sharing with me the information that was coming in, we saw where in Trinidad and Tobago, while most of the communities were trending yellow, meaning we had reports coming in, for me it was quite alarming when some communities in Tobago started trending orange, meaning that we were getting a higher level of reporting in terms of issues around gender-based violence. And for me, it prompted me to ask my peers, okay, what can we do? How can we intervene? Because Tobago, if you look at us, we depend heavily on tourism. Mm-hmm. And we want when people come to our island for them to feel safe. We want our residents to feel safe so that they can become part of the voice of markets in Tobago. And if we are trying to put out the idea that we want Tobago to be the greatest little island on the planet, then for that to happen, every resident of Tobago must feel safe and secure. And the first place you must feel safe and secure is within your own home, within your own space, and then by extension within your community setting, and then island-wide. So that for me was alarming, and it prompted me to tell my peers, you know what, how can we further collaborate with the Tobago House for them to see how we could address this very sensitive matter where we've seen that yes, communities in Trinidad are holding yellow where the reports are coming in, but we are seeing where some of our communities in Tobago, the colors change towards orange. That's not a good sign.
And you know, after implementing these types of programs and initiatives, and especially being able to track and record the reports coming in, how have you seen the benefits for the residents, especially in the Tobago East instance? How have you seen them being able to benefit from the programs? And this, especially this last one you just spoke about, for me also is very concerning. How have they been able to benefit from those things that you have implemented?
So, for example, in terms of we could see real time the data in terms of the calls coming in and the types of incidents that are being reported. It gives us a better chance to respond effectively and immediately. So, for example, over the Christmas period, I would have received a call from a particular community, from a particular religious leader in that community. And the fact that that call came in and it was in Tobago East, I was able to reach out quickly to the Secretary for Health, Wellness and Social Protection and say, hey, this is a matter I would have received the call because they recognize I'm Minister for Gender, but it falls within your responsibility, Tobago, and see how we could collaborate and coordinate to ensure that the matter was resolved and intervention would have taken place. I am proud that when we recognize that we have instances of gender-based violence and persons would have been impacted, and primarily women would have been impacted, a lot of the services that we were offering in Trinidad, we were able to bring to Tobago and by extension Tobago East. So last year we had a Women's Empowerment Forum at the Bell Garden Community Center, where we brought up stakeholders from Trinidad as well as stakeholders from within the THA and providing opportunity for women who might have been survivors or women who just want an opportunity to get the right information to become more empowered, were able to meet in this space. We had different representatives from the THA, Division of Health, from Social Welfare, from Gender and Child Affairs in Trinidad, from financial institutions, etc. And we also had in space at that point in time somebody who would have been able to offer counseling for those who needed the counseling on the spot, immediate attention. So it's bringing the services not only just for benefit Tobago East. What I've tried to do consistently is whatever we're doing in Trinidad to ensure that we collaborate with the Tobago House of Assembly to make sure that all of Tobago benefits. It makes no sense if I do something and just do it in Tobago East, because I don't just live there. My children don't just stay in the constituency. They have to come out and interact. So we have to make sure that whatever we're doing, it impacts the entire island so that we all become stronger together, that we all become safer together, so that all of us would be able to thrive within this beautiful space that we call our home.
Absolutely amazing, amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking with the Honorable Ayana Webster-Roy, Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister and holding responsibility for gender affairs, child affairs, caste, and remind me of the last one, National AIDS Coordinating Committee as well, talking about, all the projects that have been implemented so far, and we're going to come back and continue conversations. So you want to be a part of that conversation this morning. But before we go to a quick break, this is your photo of the day, courtesy Xavier. I hope I am pronouncing your name properly. Xavier Roberts. Xavier Roberts is the one who submitted this photo, and this is right on the coast of Pigeon Point, heading into Pigeon Point there. Beautiful, beautiful photo this morning. So take this with you as we go to a short break. But in the meantime, we invite you to help us share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes for breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules, or if you are having a cooking day off.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Springs. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. You know, it's always a pleasure and a privilege to be bringing information to you about things happening in and around Tobago, and of course having you as part of the conversation as we learn together, as we grow together, and of course as we have the discussions about things we need to know about happening here in Tobago. We continue conversations in studio this morning as we speak with the Honorable Ayana Webster-Roy as we continue talking about her roles and responsibility as a government minister. And of course, they were one of those categories we didn't talk about before the break. So we're going to get a little insight on that one as well.
So the National AIDS Coordinating Committee, as Minister, I'm responsible for the coordination of the national response to HIV and AIDS. And the NAC has been doing some tremendous work in terms of public education and sensitization. And because I'm a Tobago, I often say to them, whatever we're doing, we must include Tobago. So I remember recently they were doing some outreaches to various police youth clubs in Trinidad, and they would have also done outreach in Tobago. I know them working with the Mount St. George Police Youth Club, empowering the young people of the youth club, giving them information and so forth. And during the carnival period, they're supposed to be doing what they call panten crawl, going out to the pantens and giving information so that we all become part of the national response to ending HIV and AIDS by 2030. So we look out for them in Tobago as well. But it's ensuring that all our citizens have the opportunity to live long, healthy lives, and despite their status, still being able to live and to contribute towards national development.
Right, and you know, now that we know all of these things, you manage all of these different responsibilities, what are some of your projections in terms of initiatives and programs that you're hoping to roll out to deal with some of the social issues that we face in communities in Tobago? And of course, I will stay in Tobago because that's where I reside. You know, what are some of the plans that you have that you want to ensure, like these issues under the umbrella of that you hold as a minister? How are we going to meet those issues, managing the resources that we have available to us?
And I want to start off with issues around children. As I said, we as a National Standing Committee on Child Protection, and one of the items on the agenda for Tobago is how do we embark on a research into disabilities and children with disabilities in Tobago and the provision of services for them. And that will be supported by the central government, of course, with this collaboration with the Tobago House of Assembly. We are also looking at the provision of mental health services in Tobago for children again, because we have a number of young children who people might think that they're just bad or whatever, but if you do the proper assessment, you may recognize that there might be underlying mental health issues. Again, that is something through the National Standing Committee on Child Protection that we are working with the Tobago House of Assembly for us to see how we could lend some support there. And I must take the opportunity to thank those agencies that help us. We talked about resources. I've been fortunate as minister over the years to get tremendous support from various international bodies to help us to roll out the work that we are doing, not only in Trinidad, but some of the work we are doing in Tobago. So I want to salute agencies such as the United Nations system, you know, UN Women, UNICEF, those various agencies. We've gotten tremendous support from the European Union as well as some of the embassies in Trinidad and high commissions in terms of the work that we are doing. In terms of Tobago East and in terms of the development of the constituency, I spoke earlier about helping people develop, and I think that we are ripe for investment in the constituency. And for me, it's working alongside constituents to start establishing various types of cooperatives so we could benefit from our natural gifts and talents. So, for example, in areas around food production and agro-processing, how can we pull our various talents together and hone our skills and our talents to create cooperatives so that our women in particular would benefit from those skills that they have picked up through the community development classes offered by the Tobago House of Assembly, or even those offered through the Ministry of Sports and Community Development by Minister Shamfa Kojo-Lewis as well. Also working with community groups to become more empowered to access resources, helping them to become registered so that they could use their talents, their abilities, what they're passionate about to help to transform our community and our Tobago East space. So, for example, I remember when we were doing the Spotlight Initiative, there were a number of grant funding opportunities to particularly target issues around women and gender in our communities and ending gender-based violence within our homes. And we couldn't get as many organizations in Tobago to benefit from them because they might not have been properly registered or they know how to do the proposal writing and so on. So for me, it's working with various agencies, working with those private sector organizations within the constituency and outside of the constituency that we will be willing to invest in Tobago East, that we empower our community-based organizations or civil society so that they can help us to advance the constituency and help it to grow. I am passionate, even though my husband's laughed at me and said, I don't know what kind of farmer you are. I am passionate about agriculture. I did agriculture in high school as one of my subjects, and it's something that I'm really passionate about. Being able to feed yourself. We don't know when the next pandemic might come and the place might have to shut down, but helping people in Tobago is to understand the importance of being able to grow at least some of the things that you need to survive, and seeing how I could partner with those persons who might have access to large portions of land, who may be willing to enter into a venture where we create, I want to say, living food gardens, so people could access food in times of natural disasters or in times of medical, if I could call it that, medical disaster, in times of pandemic, that at least, there is still that ability to feed ourselves within Tobago East.
And, in terms of collaboration, because we did mention the support that you get from external agencies who support, what about local home-based agencies? Have you been getting the measure of collaboration, or have you made any approach or any discussions in terms of our local, whomever they are, whether they are businessmen, people who own things in the community, to come together to empower a community by community, or how?
Actually, that would have started. I remember being approached by two young persons who own a tax and consultancy firm in Tobago, and they said, I started an initiative called Stakeholder Engagement Forum, where we were bringing different business people, agencies together and talking in different communities, and he would have noticed that. And Robley Baines Tax and Accountancy would have come on board offering free workshops in the constituency for persons who were interested in either opening a business or expanding a business. So that's something that we've already started in the constituency, and we will continue to do, partner with different persons. I want to give kudos to people on the island who would have responded to the call for us to help to create a safer Tobago for our women. So I want to highlight Tabitha's Home and the work that they have been doing, and they're reaching out to Gender and Child Affairs to get the support and the funds to do some of the work that they've been doing on the island. I want to recognize Women of Substance for some of the work that they have been doing on the island as well. I remember when we had that initiative in Belgarden at the Center for Women, Women of Substance would have been one of those Tobago-based civil society organization that would have stepped forward and helped us to find the persons to come, as well as to provide the services on the day. So we have been partnering, we'll continue to partner. And I want to take this opportunity to really thank my staff at the constituency office, because as minister, you are called in many different directions, but they are often on the ground engagement persons and helping to ensure that the office is always relevant and right there to provide support. And then I also want to give my thanks to the various PSs. I have about 4 PSs. So my PS at CAST, for being willing, whenever I bring initiatives on board, to support. My PS at Gender and Child Affairs, whenever I say we can't leave Tobago behind, that they're willing to put the investment, even though our resources might be limited, to do our national programs to make sure that we still have the opportunity to do things in Tobago. And by extension, I want to also thank those THA representatives, those secretaries who have been open to partnership, the ones that would have responded to the call, the ones who see beyond the colors of I'm wearing, and to see the passion behind the work, and have always been willing to support and to help to advance Tobago East.
I think, all of this sounds very, very so engaging, and encapsulating, and you delivering the information with such passion, as I mentioned in the earlier segments. And I always welcome collaboration, because at the end of the day, we all reside in the same space.
Exactly.
We all use the resources. If not me, then somebody I know, or somebody who's near and dear to me. So I always, appreciate that collaborative effort. And I do hope, as you continue with your projections, that the collaboration continues.
Definitely.
And we can continue to reap the benefits of the programs and initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking with the Honorable Ayana Webster-Roy, Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for gender affairs, child affairs, caste, and also the National AIDS coordinating committee, right? Wearing so many different hats, a very large umbrella there, and of course talking about her projections for, you know, the coming term in office there, and ensuring that the deliverables are, you know, of benefit to persons in Trinidad and Tobago, with a focus and an emphasis on Tobago. Before we go for a short break, we have something for you. This photo, can you tell us where this is? This is back in the day. Yep, back in the day photo, we call this one, and we're hoping that you are able to tell us where this photo is. It was taken in 1877, yes, and it takes us back to a time when the sturdy warehouses made of brick and native limestone once fronted the beach at the Tobago's capital. Yes, in this building they used to produce the sugar estates. They were stored there until they were ready to be exported to England, and hardware for estates imported. Yes, at least one of these structures still survives and has been repurposed. During the economic recession following the collapse of the West India Bank in 1847, these once bustling buildings stood silent and empty as produce fell and the plantations were abandoned. And this photo is courtesy Angelo Bisesar Singh of the Virtual Museum of Trinidad and Tobago. You've got to guess where this was. So by the time we come back from the break, I do hope that somebody figures out where this photo was taken. We have to go for a short break as we continue conversations in studio with Ayana Webster-Roy when we get back. But in the meantime, we are going to ask you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. Were you able to guess that photo? Can you guess? Guess what? My guest in studio, right after we went to the break, she was like, I know where that is, and actually gave a description of the buildings that are still standing there. So can you guess? Please drop your answer on our Facebook live stream if you know the answer. But if you don't, before we end, I will tell you where that photo was taken. Yes, look at it closely. You might be able to identify some of the things there that are still standing. Remember, we said that some of the structures is still there, so you might be able to identify it. All right, we continue conversations this morning. It's now 7:54 a.m. So if you're getting yourself to work for 8 a.m., you might be a little bit late, but remember to drive safely on our nation's roads because we want you to get there in one piece. Right, we continue conversations this morning, and we speak with the Honorable Ayana Webster-Roy, Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, holding the responsibility for Gender Affairs, Child Affairs, Caste, and the National AIDS Coordinating Committee. I got it right this time. And we're going to switch gears a little bit. We know that you're a minister, a government minister, and we know this is an election year. And you have been nominated and selected, successfully screened to represent Tobago East again. What is it like for you after completing your term in office and now heading into another term with all these initiatives and ideas that you have? How do you feel about your success in the past and your projections for the new coming term?
When I reflect on the last 10 years and my contribution as Member of Parliament for Tobago East, I feel extremely proud. In the first 5 years, we saw a lot of physical infrastructure development going into the constituency, helping Tobago East to stand side by side with Tobago West, boldly and bravely saying, yes, we're developing our infrastructure so that our people could feel good about themselves and to be able to access services within the constituency. And as we moved into my second term, I focused on people, helping to develop our people through our initiatives provided through the constituency office, through partnerships, as I would have mentioned, Robley-based tax and consultancy, providing those free workshops and so on, but also touching people where it matters the most. So bringing water to communities throughout Tobago East. I mean, almost every corner of the constituency, some project would have happened in terms of improving access to water in the constituency and the community. I want to mention the work that we have done recently to improve access to public transportation for communities such as Charlottesville, Lansome, Castara, and Bloody Bay. I mean, it's an ongoing process, but I've been in constant talks with PTSC, their board of management, as well as some of the managers in PTSC to improve the services. So, for example, where we saw some of the bus weren't working properly on the terrain to go into Lansome and so forth, we saw where they established that concession using maxi taxis to, to supplement the service and to ensure that persons could access, the transportation through PTSC to go about their business and to ensure that Charlottesville, persons going to Charlottesville who have to leave Scarborough to get to Charlottesville later in the evening, that they have that access. I remember being at the awards function for RSS Phoenix and Mr. Thorne presenting our grandmother, because she was present for every training session with her grandchild, and he said one of the challenges that she was facing is that 6:30 bus, and right there on the spot, I messaged PTSC, and I felt so proud when I saw that service being reintroduced, because I realized it was not just helping that grandmother to access the Dwight York Stadium to watch her grandchildren train, but it was helping to keep her family together, provide that opportunity for a family bonding. Bus ride up, you could talk, you could review your day, and helping our family, and by helping our family, you help our community. I'm looking forward to seeing Tobago East transform even more under my guidance as Member of Parliament. We have done great things together, and we have so much more to look forward to. But most importantly, I want to ensure that the Tobago East that I grew up in as a little girl in the 80s in Roxborough, being able to go out and run around whole day and feel comfortable, that my children and their children would be able to have that type of Tobago East. So as we move forward, as we look to the future, and as we develop, as we advance, I want to encourage my constituents for us to hold on to those core values that make us uniquely Tobago East people, country people. Those values of hard work, those values of honesty, discipline, productivity, but most importantly, let us mind each other's business so that our constituency remains safe. In the last year, I was hurt to see for the first time Tobago East being impacted by gun violence and gang violence. And I want to tell my constituents, we are better than that. Let us ensure that whoever is coming into our communities, that we mind the business, know who you're coming to, why you're here, what you're doing, how you're going to impact our children. And together we could ensure that Tobago East remains a beautiful, advanced, secure community where our children have the ability to live their best lives, where they feel safe and secure.
And earlier in the preamble, before we were on camera, you were telling me you're hoping to hear me talk about the children and the mother and the wife. And how do you balance all of your responsibilities, being all of those things, being an MP, having to, respond to the nation on any matter under your umbrella, having to respond to your husband, having to be there for your children, having to be there for your community? How do you balance all of it to ensure every single role you hold, there is a measure of success?
God, I might not be very religious, but I'm a very spiritual person. So I would pray and I would fast, especially when I encounter things that I just think that Ayana cannot handle. I would go to God in prayer. But I have a very strong support system. I want to thank my parents, the aunties, the uncles, the cousins, my siblings. I want to thank my husband. Kevin is a real champ. because I don't think a lot of men would put up with. For weeks, your wife might be gone and you managing the house and managing everything. So Kevin is a real champ. And I want to salute my children. They are very resilient. For me, the greatest mark to know if you're doing a good job is when other people tell you about the quality of your children. So, for example, I was waiting for, I think it was my husband to pick me up from the airport, and I was standing in front the terminal right there down at Crown Point. And a gentleman came up to me and he said, you're doing a good job with your children. I was like, what are you talking about? He said, you have a daughter and she's in my wife's class and she speaks highly of her. She said, your daughter is humble. She has a lot of manners and she's hardworking. And I said, really? I said, I'm going to tell Kiona that she made me proud today. And I get that feedback from my other daughter as well. Keiko, she's a little mess. but when people talk about her, they talk about her humility and her respect. And even though Keiko is a national athlete, she plays netball at the national level, Keiko is still grounded. And Kamali, knockwood, one of my greatest fears now as a mom is raising a son in these times. I was said to somebody recently, it was so much easier to raise girls because the influences, but now seeing in Tobago, we see more gang violence and so on, and having a young boy who is young and impressionable and interacting with everybody, it frightens me. Sometimes I would think about my son and get little mini panic attacks. This is real. And then I have to say, Ayana, remember, you're doing stuff to fix that. You're actually doing programs, you're doing things nationally, doing things all of Tobago to help to fix that. You're collaborating with the right people to fix that. And that gives me a measure of comfort. But I want to just thank them. I want to thank my children for staying the course, for being the ones to tell me, Mommy, go again. The first time we dip my finger, let me dip my finger for Mommy. I want to thank my husband for saying, you know what, I have your back. I will support you if this is what you want. I want to thank my parents and my siblings for putting up with all the various versions of Ayana. The crazy version, the sometimes rude version, the sometimes very emotional version, but loving me through it and guiding me through it. And I want to thank my constituents, those of you who would reach out and offer a word of prayer, those of you who sometimes reach out and buff me because I see put down a performance in Parliament. That's not the Ayana we said no. I appreciate it all, and I'm really thankful for the opportunity to serve you, and I look forward to serving again.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it. You have heard it right here on Tobago Updates Television from the Honorable Ayana Webster-Roy, Government Minister, MP for Tobago East. And of course, she is putting herself forward for election again for this year's general election and hoping for the best there. And, you know, we spoke about the projections, the things that we can expect should she be successful, what we can expect in Tobago East. And of course, we know the collaboration there benefits all of Tobago. Before we go, we have to end the morning show, but before we go, I'm going to give you the honor, or at least the honor is mine, to ask you to tell our viewers where that photo was taken.
That photo is actually at the port and where customs is now. I saw the arches.
That's correct. That's where that photo was taken, and those buildings are still standing strong, you know. And so I hope you viewers guessed it this morning, and we'll keep those photos coming, bringing back the nostalgia to you here on Tobago Updates Television. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we have to end the morning show, but it's not where we end our programming. We head on over to GMT, and as we go, we invite you to help us share the live. Coming up tomorrow, let me not forget, coming up tomorrow, yes, on Beyond the Headlines, we have Minority Councillor Petal Daniel Benoit. Yes, she's on tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So you want to be part of that conversation as well to see what is taking place there. So don't miss it. Stay with us as we bring the conversations right home to you. In the meantime, we do hope you have a wonderful day, and do stick around for GMT.
Inventor of the U-Dazzle fashion ruler, Mrs. Rona Eastman Jack, is Tobago's foremost authority on intellectual property rights. She is sharing the benefit of her experience with Roxborough secondary students.
One of the greatest benefits is licensing my product to a company in Denmark. And if I didn't have the protection for it, he would not have taken it. So, and then I have the benefit of now looking to license in the United States. And even with my trademark, that's one of intellectual property rights. My trademark now is in multiple countries because of the Madrid Protocol. You have to have intellectual property, you have to have proof of ownership. And if you don't have proof of ownership, they will not take your product to license or sell it as an invention, because you could be an infringement on somebody else's own, and they don't want that. The companies that you will license to don't want that problem.
It was inspiring to me that I got to meet one of an inventors from my country. So it was inspiring for me.
This year's theme is Women and IP, Accelerating Innovation and Creativity.
If you have it protected, then you skip the having to prove yourself, and then you would be able to say, no, I have my trademark for this. I have an industrial design. I have a patent. I have my poems, or my book is copyright protected because it's original work. Your pictures are original. You know, you would be able to have those particular rights.
April 26th is World Intellectual Property Rights Day. Lectures were conducted at Roxborough Secondary School and Goodwood High School to mark the occasion.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Regardless of how you cut the cake, Tobago has won tonight, yes? Gold is pop under the light, so we're going with black and gold.
I'm going for a hat trick, so it's the same process.
So we're here at Skinner Park in the city of San Fernando for the National Panorama Finals of the Small Conventional Bands. We have 3 Tobago bands in the competition. We have the Tiantec New East Side Dimension, we have First Citizen Tobago Panthers, and we have Uptown Fascinators. So we are hoping that Tobago brings home the title for yet another year. So stay with us as we bring you the highlights. I think some persons were surprised to see Panthers in the top 3. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it called for hard work. If you know that for the last few weeks in Golden Lane, we had some murder, some shootings, and some bad experiences, which hampered our practice and preparation a lot. But we overcame that at the last minute. And, getting these kind of results only shows that, hard work really pays off.
To me, it's a sense of achievement to know where they started to where we have reached. Those kids put in a lot of hard work and dedication, and I think they really deserve this. I feel really good about it, really accomplished about it. So I think from here it's up.
We really wanted to celebrate and honor Tobago's Panthers' success in the season thus far, and when Antonia and the team at Tobago Panthers asked us to come and be a part, we all collectively said yes, we will do it and we will make it fun. It really was fun for us, and we hoping that the band wins.
So I just discovered that Miss Tiny Winey is actually the reigning Miss Lauren Rivet, Rachel Cattell.
Yes. Good night, everyone.
So what was it like being on stage in this capacity?
Well, I mean, obviously it's very different, but still the energy is still the same, the commitment is still the same, and the support for the company, the support for the team, the support for Tobago remains the same as Miss Lauren Rivet 2024 coming from Tobago, and I continue to show my support to all cultural events this year.
OJ, as usual, your usual theatrical style. How was this evening's performance?
I'm really satisfied with the performance this evening. We were a lot cleaner than we were in semi-finals. We've tried to focus on cleaning up a lot of the little mistakes that we made in semi-finals just to improve. So we looked at what the judges' remarks were, dealt with those little areas, and then just tightened up on the song, and I think it was executed pretty well.
So you're a captain, but not everybody knows what the captain of a pan side or pan band actually does. Tell us a bit about the role of the captain.
Okay, so the captain is responsible for basically the well-being of the band, responsible for the players, responsible for the pans, to ensure that every moving piece that the arranger needs is there. The captain is basically the heartbeat of your band.
I feel absolutely wonderful. They came and they brought the rain and they performed so well. I am so proud of them. You know, I have no words. Imagine, I have no words.
1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, that's where this band comes alive. So that's really the time frame from 8.
So no sleep?
No sleep, no sleep. We finished the song the same day we judged the prelim rounds. We finished the song that morning, 6 o'clock that morning. We left the panyard 7 a.m. when the sun came out. That's how hard we going for this right now.
Tying for position number 1, 279, Golden Hands. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Let's go. It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the sky.
Here is because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. And this morning, as we get into an interesting conversation, we are speaking about all things water supply here on the island of Tobago. And I have the privilege of chatting online this morning with the Minister of Public Utilities, the Honorable Marvin Gonzalez. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Tobago.
Good morning, and thank you for having me, and good morning to Tobago as well as Trinidad. It's always a pleasure to be here, and I thank you for the opportunity to have a chat and to discuss the issue of water for the people of Tobago.
Excellent. And now a lot of work is being done in Tobago on WASA's front. Last year, we had one of the tougher years here in Tobago when it comes to water supply, specifically with the drought that took place in a number of the water treatment sites. We heard from the head of WASA, Mr. Brian Williams, when he spoke about there being at an all-time low when you look at the history. However, the work that is being done currently, we saw you were in Tobago last week. You guys had that sud turning up at Goldsboro. How much closer does that bring Tobago to having, let's say, a first world status of water supply?
Much closer. It's a work in progress, and it's a work that started 3 years ago, where we did a number of work on the infrastructure, on the infrastructure front to upgrade Tobago's water supply systems. What we discovered a couple of years ago was that because of lack of investment over the years, it was difficult for WASA's current infrastructure to meet the demands on the island, especially given the amount of development that took place, expanding housing infrastructure, the number of guest houses that were being constructed in Southwest Tobago. And in East Tobago, we also have the issue throughout, not only in Tobago, but in Trinidad, the issue of unregulated development, where people construct their homes outside of the utility distribution grid or outside of areas that have been approved for development. It's always a challenge to supply those developments with a reliable supply of water and or electricity. They go hand in hand. So when we talk about first world status with respect to the supply of water or electricity, we also have to take into consideration that here in the Caribbean, we have a very serious issue of unregulated development. And as long as we continue to grapple with that issue, we will always have the challenge of some of these communities not having access to water until you get the necessary financial resources to be able to expand the grid so that those communities can get water. But that aside, let me say that we have spent a lot of money to improve the water supply in Tobago. And you would have seen over the years new booster stations being constructed, and I will go into the details of some of them. The desilting of the Hillsborough Dam, the drilling of wells, etc. And all of these projects were designed to improve the supply of water, especially to communities that are unserved and underserved. So far, I had made a prediction that by the end of 2024, at least 75% of Tobago will have at least 24/3 supply of water. And on the way to the Goldsboro Sod turning, I was told that we did not only meet, but we surpassed that prediction. It's over 80%, between 50 or 60 something thousand people in communities all over Tobago getting a 24/3 and above supply of water. And in many instances, many of those communities are now getting a 24/7 level of service. So the Goldsboro water treatment plant is a continuation of the work that we plan to do so that all across Trinidad, all across Tobago, in East Tobago particularly, where we have some unique challenges there, those communities will start seeing an improvement in their supply of water because the infrastructure that was laid down, the plants that were constructed 25, 30 years ago can no longer meet the growing demands in those communities. And that's the reason why we have to continue to build new infrastructure. Thank you.
Excellent. And now this project is funded by a loan that was provided by IDB and being facilitated by, I believe it's NIPDEC.
Yeah, NIPDEC is a part. NIPDEC was the procurement agency used by Ministry of Public Utilities and WASA to obtain a contractor for the project as well as design and supervisory consultants.
Excellent. So they had oversight over the implementation of this project.
Oh, yeah. So NIPDEC's role is very critical. They have hired the design consultants who will supervise all aspects of the project to ensure that the plant is constructed as per the approved designs.
Was there any aspect of the planning process for this Goldsboro water treatment plant that included some level of consultation and conversation with Tobagonians, as well as the THA, to ensure that the goals that we achieve from this project is all-encompassing and it also aligns with the overall goals of the THA for Tobago's public utilities development?
That's a very good question, because when we submitted the concept to the IDB that we planned and we wanted to construct a new plant in Tobago, in Goldsboro, the first thing before it is approved by the IDB, the first thing that we needed to do was to engage the community, the farmers, the residents, and what have you. And we had 2 consultations there, I think it was in 2023, with the community to let them know of the plans to construct a water treatment plant at that Goldsboro site. So it was one of the fundamental requirements of the IADB before they approved the funding for the construction of that plant. Once that was approved, and the IDB was satisfied of the level of public consultation with the residents, then we started our discussions with the THA. I led a team of professionals from WASA, and we met with the Chief Secretary, Mr. Fali Augustine, and we told him of the plans. And he immediately, I must say, gave the support and gave the undertaking that he would do whatever it takes for WASA and the Ministry of Public Utilities to construct that plant. The issue, the main issue when we met was the land tenureship, because the land is vested in the THA, and we needed, the IDB had required the THA to agree to the transfer of the land to the Water and Sewage Authority for the construction of that plant. And Mr. Augustine, the Chief Secretary, was able to do that in record time. I recall it took literally about 2 to 3 weeks for him to give the lease or the license, which was the requirement, the legal requirement of the IDB. And in 2 to 3 weeks after my visit with him, that license was available. And we ticked a very important box as the IDB had required for us to get the funding for the loan. Then it went into the construction phase, not the construction, I'm sorry, the procurement phase. And once a contractor was selected, then we needed to go back into the community. I recall having this meeting, I think it was at the Pembroke Community Center, where we had a long meeting there, an evening with the residents. The Deputy Chief Secretary also was in attendance. We met with the various village councils, the Member of Parliament, my colleague Ayana Webster-Roy. A number of residents came out. I think they actually packed the Pembroke Community Center. And there again, we went through the process of consulting with them, the THA, all the stakeholders, the environmental agency as well. We discussed the need for local employment, getting the community engaged throughout the construction phase. So it was a very long and robust period of consultation at the various levels before we reached the point of turning the sod to start the construction of the project.
Excellent. And when it comes to that level of collaboration, how important is that for you and for the ministry moving forward to ensure that despite everything that is published in the media or said, that the true work that is being done behind the scene is in the best interest of all Tobagonians?
We don't make joke with consultation. It is very important. One of the things that we have learned in our recent interactions with the IDB is the need for us to always engage the communities all across the country on projects that stand and would benefit them and would advance their interests. So almost every project that we do, especially under the IDB program, there is a long period of consultation before tendering, consultation after the tender process, consultation before the start of construction. Is very important because you don't want to have a situation where people are seeing and or hearing of a project in their community and they don't know, they are not aware as to how that project is going to improve their lives, the opportunities that are available to them during the life of this project. So it is very important. And once you engage the community, it redounds to the best interest of the project. You find yourself having a more seamless execution of the project because you get the support of the stakeholders, you get the support of the communities. So I can tell you, not only in Tobago, but all over Trinidad, where we engage in these projects, be it the laying of a pipeline or the construction of a booster, the construction of a new water treatment plant, public consultation and public engagement is very, very critical, because once you have the support of the public, you are almost assured of a seamless implementation of the project. So I support it wholeheartedly. It is what happened at the sod turning ceremony. It was just unfortunate that the speaker representing the THA did not acknowledge the amount of consultation that was done, because the THA was part of the consultation, especially the one that we had at the Pembroke Community Center. The Deputy Chief Secretary was there, and she also made contribution. She was there when we met with the Chief Secretary. When I met with the Chief Secretary with a team at the Water and Sewage Authority, where the entire project was discussed. When WASA had consultations with the farmers, the THA was also involved. So consultations always take place, but it is wrong when one gives the impression that it is only on this unique occasion we happen to be part of it. That was just not true. And I thought it was my responsibility to set the record straight on this particular matter, because if you don't, then people are left with the impression that we are not having the requisite amount of consultation and people are being bypassed, etc., etc. And that's the reason why I had to set the record straight and let the people of Tobago as well as Trinidad understand that what we are doing here in collaboration is what we do all over Trinidad and Tobago, and our experience as well in the Ministry of Public Utilities. We always consult. I think what was happening on this occasion was that some persons complained that they are not invited to certain ceremonies and what have you. And I just thought that the discussion had gone too far on this particular matter, and I needed to set the record straight.
Understood. But when we look at Charlottesville for a long time has had difficulty with their water supply. Now, because of how far away they are and how high up they are, we have that issue with getting them that proper water supply, as well as the proper water pressure that is needed to sustain many households. Now, there have been suggestions of having that silting plant project in Charlottesville to facilitate increased water supply on that end of the island. But what other ideas have come forward that we can possibly see being implemented in the future? Let's say, for instance, if this one does not work, because there are a number of environmentalists who have come forward to oppose or ask questions regarding that whole silting process that could possibly take place in Charlottesville.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I tell you this, there's a part in Charlottesville where, unlike the Goldsboro area or West Tobago, where we have a number of opportunities available for increasing the production of water to meet the growing demands. Unfortunately, in Charlottesville, Tobago, we don't have there a prolific river that can be a sustainable source of water for the people of Charlottesville. The wells that we have, the underground wells and the aquifer, is one that drops considerably, especially in dry conditions. And the wells do not produce the volume of water to meet the growing demands. So there are two critical things that you need to take into consideration. The opportunities to drill for a groundwater, freshwater well in Charlottesville, it is almost non-existent. And the river sources, which is a surface water source, we don't have opportunities for a sustainable production of water to meet the growing demand. So the option that is available, the only available option that might be feasible, is the construction of a reverse osmosis plant. In other words, a small desalination package plant. I spoke about it the day after I left Tobago on TTT. And it was something that I did not elaborate on at the sword tuning, because I didn't want to detract too much from the event. But I can say now that the idea of a reverse osmosis or desalination, small desalination package plant for Charlottesville, Tobago, to meet the demand of the communities there, is one that is on the table, that is also receiving active consideration by the Ministry of Public Utilities. We're looking at a plant that can, in the first instance, supply or produce 500,000 gallons of water per day, and it's a modular plant where it starts at 500,000 gallons of water per day, and in the months after, we're looking to hopefully increase the production of water to about 1 million gallons of water per day. That's desalination water. And we believe that's the only sustainable and reliable option that is available to the people of Charlottesville to meet the growing demands. A number of homes and a number of structures are on elevated points, and that has caused tremendous difficulty for the authority to provide the people there with a reliable supply of water. So plans are already in train, and I plan to meet the Chief Secretary in a month or two to discuss how we can have collaboration between central government and the THA to fund this particular project. And I am very excited about it. It will be one of the only small desalination plant owned by the Water and Sewage Authority in Tobago as well as in Trinidad. And once it is done, once it is completed, the people of Charlottesville will have access to a reliable supply of water. It is still in the planning phase. We are looking at cost. We are talking to some of our international and regional counterparts. We are planning the project. And once we have all of the requisite information where we can engage the THA in discussions, we will determine how we are going to collaborate to fund the project moving forward. But that is one of the active things that we are looking at this point in time because of the absence of a reliable surface source of water as well as a groundwater source.
Thank you so much. Now, unfortunately, we have to round up this morning's discussion. Is there anything that you want to say to the people of Tobago when it comes to looking forward to improve water supply? Specifically, in that you indicated that the Goldsboro water treatment plant has a reach that comes far down Tobago West. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I want to tell the people of Tobago that with all of the projects that we have done all around the country, the story of the successes in Tobago is one that all of us should be proud of. I recall a couple or 3 years ago, I spent Easter weekend mobilizing trucks from Trinidad to send to Tobago so that your tourism industry will not be shut down because of the lack of water in southwest Tobago. When we started commissioning a number of these projects in the years ahead, that's after 3 years ago, we started experiencing and seeing a gradual turnaround of that water supply system and challenges in Tobago, the booster stations, the transmission lines that we constructed from Signal Hill to Apex Building that will add a certain level of resilience, the wells that we drill in Bad Hill, the desilting of the Hillsborough Dam, the number of booster stations that we constructed. Now we have the Goldsboro water treatment plant, which will be the biggest plant on the island of Tobago, producing 2 million gallons of water, not only to supply the needs of today, but will literally guarantee you certain water security for the next 10 years once it is protected. The island's water supply situation has improved tremendously, and I am looking forward to the continuation of the improvement in the supply of water, especially in that Charlottesville area, because it remains that only area where we will have to grapple with for the next couple months until we get that desalination, that small desalination package plant. But once we complete that, all over Trinidad, all over Tobago, all communities that were unserved and underserved will have access to a reliable supply, as over 50,000 people on the island of Tobago are already experiencing. I have seen people cry. I have seen people, jump for joy over the last year when we commissioned those booster stations, when they started getting a reliable supply of water. I have spoken to the hoteliers in southwest Tobago who attest to the improvement in their supply. I don't hear of guest houses having to close down because of lack of water. These things are things of the past, but we continue to drive the work. We continue to do the work because it will always be a work in progress. And I look forward to continuing my collaboration with the members of Parliament and with the THA to ensure that we not only have a better supply today, but our water security is assured for the next 25 or 30 years.
Thank you so much, Minister, the Honorable Marvin Gonzalez. We want to thank you again for giving us your time here this morning at Tobago Updates. And we look forward to hearing more updates from you in the future as your projects in Tobago continue. And we wish continued support. Guys, we're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back right after this. See you soon.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules, or if you are having a cooking day off.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with AMPLIA's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can't beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
Good morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Guys, this morning, as you heard in that introduction, in that music, we have a woman that is no stranger to your ear. We have this morning Mrs. Natasha Wilson, Calypsonian and songwriter. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Tobago.
Good morning, everyone in Tobago. Good morning, good morning.
Well, it's a pleasure to sit with you this morning. Now, you have had some hits that has left an indelible mark on the calypso scene in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
However, we have not heard from you in a while. All right. And so now you are back and bigger and better than ever, bringing your voice back into the calypso scene,
both,
and making your contribution
again.
and making your presence felt again.
Yes.
What would have sparked this for you?
Well, honestly speaking, I don't want people to think that I stopped singing. I've been singing. I have a production company, it's called Now Production in New York, and I'm flying Trinidad and Tobago flag very high, consistently, all over the world. I just got a citation award from the Mayor of New York, Eric Adams, and proclamations for doing the work and keeping Trinidad and Tobago flag high. That's one. Two, by me running my company, I have young singers underneath my label that I'm training, at this moment. So, you know, don't think Natasha is like out of sight, out of mind. No, Natasha been in New York, back and forth home too, and seeing what's going on for the past couple of years.
But more behind the scenes.
A little bit, yeah, behind the scenes, yeah.
Developing talent and bridging the gap, giving Trinbagonians as well as other young artists the opportunity to get that level of international exposure that is needed.
Yeah.
And from where you sit, what type of investment is really needed to help the local artists, specifically the younger artists, to bridge that gap to get on to that global stage and to produce global content as well?
Well, let me speak as of in Trinidad. In Trinidad, I'm working with a new organization. It's called Zig Boys, right? They are the ones that I reach out to due to one of my members, also my attorney in Trinidad that handled my business. She's the one that did the introduction between Spine and myself for this project. So anyone that would like to get into the business here in Trinidad, you could reach out to Spine, and we all a team. So if you want to get to Natasha, you could reach out to Spine. Give me that number. Could I say the number?
Yeah, definitely.
304-1641.
And this is for young artists
as well as... This is for young upcoming artists that want to get into the business, that is serious about the business, that have the drive for the business, the passion for the business. It's not about money. It's about dedication and committed to your vision and what it is you want to do.
Excellent. Now, this year you have a rendition called Warrior. Tell us the idea behind that song and what it took from you to produce this level of content.
Well, when Warrior came about, I spoke to my dad, the Mighty Sparrow, about it. And he's like, he wanted to get a songwriter that could give me something more up-tempo. And I wanted people to get a vision of, in my past life, the trials and tribulations I went through as a young female artist that started off for all the Destras and the Nadia Batson and the Nyla Blackman and all of them. So what it is, you have to go through, or the trials and tribulations I went through, to pave way for them.
Excellent. And we're going to take a quick listen to this video this morning and give people a taste of what Warrior is offering.
Yes.
See me so, they fighting me bad, trying to do everything they could to hold me back. But my God don't sleep, he defending tight. Now I'm stronger than ever, and that is the fact. They could never stop me again, and I'm feeling good every day. Just to come and watch this race, make me feel to jump up and wave. Two hands in the air and I'm singing.
tempo. So
Yes.
we are in the soca space, right?
Yes.
We are fully in the soca space. So we have had a number of young artists coming
Yes.
out and talking about music suppression
Uh-huh.
in Trinidad and Tobago, and when they do produce quality music, that it does not get the level of exposure that is needed. Do you think that you will be able to secure the type of exposure that is needed to really push the quality of content that you have here?
Yes. That's a next question. For me, yes, I'll be able to do it with my team that I have, and because of experience in the business. You know, for the young upcoming ones, you have to have someone, as I say, you know, if you want, correspond that somebody's more experienced, that knows the channel to help you. Okay? You can't do it by yourself.
Understood. And so as we close off, you know, this quality music, high quality music video that you're offering here, and I'm guessing with the type of music, it's not just carnival focused, it's year round.
Yeah.
And it targets all sectors of the society. Is there anything that you want to tell Trinbagonians when it comes to giving their support to artists like yourself moving forward, not just for the carnival season?
Oh, well, what I'll say, you know, whatever shows or so that we have, support our culture, because, you know, a lot of people don't support either the calypso, they will support the soca more, but they have to understand soca came from calypso, all right? So support where it started from and from beyond. We need the support. We need you guys out there. We need the people.
Excellent. Now we know that you are strapped for time this morning, so we
Yes.
don't want to hold you any longer than we need to. And again, we want to say congratulations to
Thank
you
you.
on taking that step to be back out in front
Yes.
and not just behind the scenes. So all the best to you for this season, this
Thank
carnival
you,
season. We
darling.
hope that you get the exposure that is necessary to continue to push the music and to keep you motivated to continue to produce quality
Yes.
content.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's a
All
pleasure.
Guys,
Thank
we're
you.
going to take a quick break right here, and we're going to be back real soon, right after this.
Everything feeling nice. I'm singing, whoa, 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 whoa. With a heart full of love. Father bless me from above. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No bad mind to bother me. 'Cause you keep me safe from all negativity. Never see the way. No bad mind to bother me. 'Cause you keep me safe from all negativity. Never see the way. The struggles in the past make me a warrior. I've been through so much in life, so much things was tough, but I still give thanks for this life I have. No, it's only love in me heart. When they see me so, they fighting me bad, trying to do everything they could to hold me back. But my God was sleep, He defending that. Now I'm stronger than ever, and that is the fact. They could never stop me again, and I'm feeling good every day. Make me feel to jump up and wave. Two hands in the air and I'm singing. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So thankful for life. Everything feeling nice. I'm singing. Whoa, 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 whoa. With a heart full of love. Father bless me from above. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No bad mind could bother me. 'Cause you keep me safe from all negativity. Never see the way. No bad mind could bother me. 'Cause you keep me safe from all negativity. Never see the way. No bad mind could bother me. 'Cause you keep me safe from all negativity. Never see the way. No bad mind could bother me. 'Cause you keep me safe from all negativity. Never see the way.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Now, this morning, as we round up our show, we are allowing you to have your say. Now, there are a number of issues and topics that are circulating in the space. Now, we know there's no way we cannot talk about the fact that the Commissioner of Police was arrested last week and then released with no charges connected to that arrest. Now, this morning we want you guys to call us. The number is 284-6597 to give your comments, perspectives, and views on that matter. I mean, for some of us, it seems to just be a very strange occurrence, but we heard from On News in 90 Seconds this morning that she has been let go. Now, the Police Service Commission did end her contract, and this would be brought before the Parliament. I believe it is on the 5th of February. This should be debated. Now, how are you guys feeling about this? Specifically, when it comes to her contract being terminated and she was freed of all charges. Was this a bit of an unfair treatment to the former Commissioner of Police, or is it just what comes with the territory? If you bring the police service into disrepute in any matter, shape, or form by even being a suspect in an investigation of this nature, it comes with losing your portfolio. Guys, we want to hear from you this morning. What are you thinking? How are you feeling about this particular situation? There are persons speaking from all sides. Some persons saying that this indicates a level of independence within the TTPS that allows for them to scrutinize even the top cops. You have persons coming out and saying on the other side that something in the mortar is more than in the pestle, as we say here in Tobago, because how was she just freed and relieved of all charges? Was there a call that was made to ensure that she was released, or was there truly no evidence against the Commissioner of Police? There are so many questions to be asked and so many answers to be given, but who do we ask, and who will tell us the answers that we are looking for, or even just tell us the truth for that matter? Now the phone lines are open and you are able to contribute to this discussion. We don't want to make any speculations here on Tobago Updates, but we just want you guys to contribute to that discussion and allow us to hear what you are saying. What are the people saying on the ground as it pertains to the arrest of the Commissioner of Police, or former Commissioner of Police, earlier here with Christopher last week? Now, this was some unprecedented discoveries, because we have never seen anyone in Trinidad and Tobago's history in that high portfolio being arrested. And for many persons, when we looked at that media briefing with her attorney when she was released last week, she seemed visibly shaken by the entire experience. And you could tell that she was holding back those tears and just the grief and possibly the feeling of betrayal from her own colleagues. Because, you know, I sit and I think, how is it to have coffee, to have lunch, to have meetings, and sit and be chatting with persons who are actively investigating you and no one says a word to you? It must be extremely heartbreaking, but also insightful into the minds and the hearts of people that you look at their face, but you truly can't tell what they're thinking, and you really can't tell their hearts and their minds towards you. And it says to a number of us that when we go to work, we need to just be on our P's and Q's and mind our business sometimes, and just know that sometimes our co-workers are not our friends. We have a caller online. Good morning, caller, and welcome. Oh, sorry, we have a clip to run according to my producer.
2 days of unrelenting questioning, interrogation. She has endured this interrogation as a suspect who has been cautioned, and in light of that ordeal she has endured, I have advised her that though she wishes to speak, this is not the time. So if you have any questions, please direct them to me. What I would say that what happened here is an outrage. It is outrageous, because the Commissioner of Police was questioned not as a person from whom the officers wanted information, but she was cautioned. And we all know, or we should know, that a caution is administered to a person against whom the officer has reasonable grounds to suspect the person has committed an offense. I sat through with my junior, Mr. Warner, the interview of the commissioner. And at the end of this interview, it was elucidly clear that there was not one drop of evidence against the commissioner. So the burning question, which I would like answered, is who is the senior officer that authorized the arrest of the Commissioner of Police on material that did not establish grounds to suspect.
That was the media briefing that took place last week as the former Commissioner of Police earlier with Christopher was released back out into the public. Now, we hear persons saying this was just a high-level ploy to remove the commissioner and to make way for others to get her position. What do you think? You can have your say by calling again at 284-6597 or adding your comments to the comment section on Facebook. But this morning, as we round up the discussion, we would look forward to having more conversations on this issue this week as we invite a number of specialists and professionals to touch on the topic and answer some of these pressing questions, bringing clarity and possibly ending the speculations, right? And all these comments that are surrounding this case. Again, the attorney asked, who would have signed off on the arrest of the police commissioner? And without the necessary evidence needed to arrest her, why was the arrest still made? Guys, I am just as dumbfounded as you are. So this week, I look forward to asking those questions and getting the requisite answers. So you guys did not want to call in this morning and make your contribution, but that is fine. You would have the opportunity to do so throughout the week as well. And again, we want to thank you for being a part of this morning's discussion. We want to thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, I am Chanel Felix, and thank you. Have a great day.